as we both go to adjust our collars back now that we're off camera. Anyway, so yeah, of course, as you can see, we got Lion on the Legion side, Complexity on the Hellborn side, and B-Kid taking a little bit of extra time here to figure out who he wants to blind ban. So, but again, both of these teams are coming off a 3-game series, going all 3 games for both of them. So you got to keep that in mind. Definitely having to fight through that. Now, that could be good and bad, of course, as we've talked about in the past. You know, that could be good in the sense that they got plenty of warm-up time and experience, but at the same time could be exhausted from longer series. But anyways, the locking phase now into here. So the blind bans, we had Wild Soul Tundra coming out here from Lion. And then, of course, Keeper of the Forest and Fade coming out here from Complexity. So yet again, Complexity going to be, or excuse me, Keeper of the Forest going to be blind banned here, this time by Complexity being the Hellborn team. First lock Master of Arms, Lion Esports Club. They're really making the point that they value this Master of Arms hero, but we've still yet to actually see them pick him up. He's been locked now twice, I believe, as in the previous series, that is, but ain't picking him up just yet, so
yeah,
they like him.
They do like him. As I was getting a little sidetracked there, I wanted to actually check out their blind bans really fast. They had Wild Soul Tundra from Lion, and then Keeper of the Forest. What do you know? Keeper of the Forest is banned yet again from the Hellborn side. But anyways, the locks are happening quite quickly. Master of Arms, as you mentioned, locked out yet again by Lion Esports. Ophelia and Tempest locked both by Complexity. The response, well, we got 2 Suicide Heroes in both Pharaoh and Bubbles. One last lock for B-Kid here.
Yeah. Going to figure out what that is, of course. So, yeah, that very strong lock pool, as you would usually expect here, with especially these 2 top-tier teams, of course, going at it. And kind of more on that now. We talked about the points and whatnot before the first series here to start cycle number 3. Again, you got Complexity. They're number 2, of course, right now in the point standings, and happening to be the runner-up in both the first and the second cycle. Of course, they were the runner-ups to Trademark Esports, who eventually won it all. By the way, on that note, we forgot to bring this up, but of course, with the break coming up and everything, it kind of really, not necessarily screwed things up, but obviously, you know, the holidays, it was a time, kind of a downtime as far as coverage goes and whatnot. We did cover the grand finals, the game 1 of the grand finals of Complexity versus TDM, but there was supposed to be another game. It ended up getting postponed because of issues that arose. But from my understanding, and I wasn't even here, so I'm not fully aware on the exact situation, but they ended up forfeiting the second game anyways to TDM. So TDM ultimately did become, again, the Cycle 2 champion. So that's just kind of a quick mention there on how that... So there's people that are curious, the video up on HoNcast, there is only the one game there for a reason. So
right.
Not to kind of catch you guys off guard. There was only one game that actually got played, so just to get you caught up on that. But Plague Rider, the final lock. Banning phase, you got Warbeast, Jereziah, Draconis, Pebbles coming out here so far. Now, of course, one more ban on either side, Trout. But, again, we see the Warbeast ban actually coming out from Lion. Don't want to have, of course, Chessie is known to play a very good Warbeast over here. So nothing too out of the ordinary, though, other than really that Master of Arms. But with that lock pool, I find it very hard to believe that they're going to actually pick up MOA here. So.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. I expect a Parasite ban here coming out from B-Kid. It could also be Parasite. Could be Demented Shaman. There is the Parasite ban. He does like to ban out Demented Shaman a lot, especially against, you know, there's Demented Shaman and Zephyr. There's also Moon Queen. There's a lot of good, strong stuff still in the pool. It just comes down to what does each team prefer. Namely Lions. They are first pick. What are they going to go with? What do they value most here? There's a lot of strength stunners like Initiators, like Magnus and Miraculous. Those are both available.
Yeah.
You have Hard Carry and Moon Queen. You have Silhouette available. You have Dark Lady. If you want to go the push route, you have Demented Shaman and Zephyr both available. So there's lots of options. There's also Wretched Hag, who's been very popular as of late as well.
Yeah. Yeah, as it usually works, of course, going into the picking phase. But yeah, the Zephyr is something that stands out to me as well. But Moon Queen, sure enough, is going to be first picked here by Lion Esports Club. And this just, you mentioned the previous series. I mean, Moon Queen is a hero that really a lot of teams have been seeming to like even more and more, especially after DreamHack. And the facts can kind of back that up, I'm sure. So, sure enough, we saw that first series, and here we go in this series now, Lion Esports Club. Going to take it first. But there's plenty of carry options still left on the board with that said. Moraxis and Luna are the first 2 pickups for Complexity.
I am actually kind of... Yeah, Moraxis Luna is very, very strong. That's going to be a very strong dueling mid, most likely. I am actually a little curious now about the Parasite ban, seeing how Ophelia and Tempest are both in that pool. And Lions has first pick. Now, I would presume that they're going to first pick Ophelia with, they're not being a very hard counter to Ophelia, at least right now. And that's going to guarantee farm on Moon Queen. We see a Magnus, and yet again, it's a Glacius. Now, they decided to lane those two together like they did last game. It ended up working out, but I wouldn't say that's just, because of the Magnus Glacius lane. I think there was a lot of other factors involved, like Dark Lady getting free farm, rune control, all sorts of different things. There's Zephyr actually picked up from Complexity. They want to end this early, it looks like, with the Zephyr push, Morax's blink, and then start grouping up as 5 and just pushing and right-clicking towers, especially up against a Moon Queen. That's normally what you want to do. You don't want to take it to late against it. And they actually go with Tempest first. Ophelia is also there, and they snap pick Ophelia after Tempest is picked up. I think that maybe, they go for Plague Rider. It's going to give him some good ults in those team fights. So, interesting lineups. Well, not really interesting lineups. Pretty straightforward. But the Magnus plus Glacius, I just don't favor Glacius in a dueling with the Magnus particularly. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out, but not exactly my favorite thing.
Yeah, you could also argue, the first pick Moon Queen. It goes back to the point that there's plenty of carry options on the board. You had a Silhouette unban and a Zephyr unban. Plenty of options. So a first pick Moon Queen did seem. Why? Thank you, sir. I'm gonna have to go on D&D after that, but. Anyways, we do see the 5 players or the 5 heroes over here for Complexity, but the point I was getting at, so I'm trying to regroup now. Moon Queen, so it was first picked over here by Lions, but why waste that first pick on a carry pick? I'm sure Complexity could have gone Moon Queen with their first 2, but again, you still had plenty of options. So now in the end, maybe it didn't really screw them up ultimately, but they could have gone something like an Aluna first pick instead. And then, maybe eventually got that Magnus and got that Aluna Magalane or something like that. So, you could definitely, put that out there as perhaps something that they should have thought about. But in the end, they do final pick. It was Bubbles, I believe. Yeah, Bubbles right there. And, well, both lineups are now good to go. But I do look at Complexity's lineup, and it's strong. Now, Lions Esports lineup actually turns out to be very strong as well from the looks of it. So,
yeah, I much prefer Complexity's lineup to Lions. I really do. And it's basically because of this Magnus plus Glacius lane. If that's what they decide to lane mid, I feel like it's going to get completely outmatched by Moraxis Aluna. I really do. Unless they decide to put something else and kind of switch things up. Maybe Glacius Magnus will go top against what's probably going to be the, what do we have, a solo Zephyr. Probably going to be a solo Zephyr. And they're probably going to pull him regen too. Now that I think about it, let me see if they've already done that. Yeah, actually, one health potion's already pulled there from Chessie onto Haxrin, so it's going to be a solo top, solo short lane Zephyr, and they are going to contest that. It looks like Glacius is walking top with wards. Super KGE playing this Magnus as a farmer, and as all 4 are marching up there, and it's going to be a short lane Moon Queen right now as solo against what's going to be a Plague Rider, and Plague Rider should actually do just fine against Moon Queen. Now Plague Rider is rushing down here to place the ward. See, this is one of the things I feel like. Okay, you're rushing down here. I actually have a vote to remake. They might want to remake simply because I think Beak is lagging pretty badly, and they just want a different server.
Yeah. Well, this actually brings up an interesting point. We'll see. Again, it is on Lion. I mean, if they don't want to remake, they don't have to. So okay, they are going to remake though. So again, unfortunately, that does mean we'll have to go to the lockpicking stage once again. Let's just hope it doesn't get screwed up. But the thing that I noticed there. Was actually B-Kid was playing the Plague Rider, and I kind of wonder because B-Kid was on Plague Rider and Moon Meander was actually on Moraxis. Usually it would be the other way around, but I'm wondering because it's on a European server, European server, specifically that one apparently was a little bit laggy for B-Kid. Plague Rider not necessarily as an intense hero as a Moraxis, so the latency not as big of a deal. So I kind of wonder if that's actually ultimately playing the role there as to why they're playing those different heroes. When it comes down to it. But anyways, again, they are going to remake here, it looks like. And so we'll see as hopefully we can get into the game here shortly. Again, it's just a matter of once it actually allows us to. Just kind of have to rinse and repeat. There we go. Okay, Chessie apparently is in there, so I'm going to go ahead and join off of him. And once everyone else joins back up, we should be good to go. So now they have another 30 minutes, actually. That's kind of interesting. Because it didn't actually... Wait, did they switch sides? No, they're still on the same sides. Like I was going to say, did it actually give Game 1 to somebody? That'd be fun. Yeah, you technically should do it through the HoN Tour lobby, so... Just letting them know that. But yeah, anyways, the point I was also getting to was that it is on Lions. I mean, if they didn't want to remake it, they have no obligation to remake. I mean, we've talked about there's several things that with when a team like Random's a hero, where it's like, well, that's the time's there for a reason, and we've seen a case where a team just didn't want to remake. I mean, the time is there for a reason. So, this is another case of that. You have a laggy server. Deal with it. I mean, it's not their fault that the server just happened to be a little bit laggy for you.
I thought it was like each team they have the right to remake at the beginning if they want to for server purposes.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. I think they do.
Maybe that is the rule then.
Okay. Now, if it's for a random hero, I feel like that's completely
different. Yeah.
Because that's you screwed up. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
That's up to the other team to decide to do that. But
fair enough. Okay, so anyways, nonetheless, we do have a remake here, and again, it may sound like I'm just a little bit aggravated. It is just a little bit annoying, that we have to go through these. And it happens though, in the end, you just got to deal with it. Just like I told.
I will say that Complexity has had so many remakes in the past; they've gotten pretty good at this.
that is, yeah. I think that's even more to it. It seems like Complexity. Now, granted, we probably cover them either more, or they're definitely one of the most covered teams, and no doubt here on HoNcast. So maybe that has something to do with it, but. Seems like they do have quite a bit of the remakes, but anyways, back to the lockpick stage we go. So the blind band's going to be coming out here again. Doesn't really matter, just as long as you don't blind ban a hero that was actually picked up. The safe route is to try to do everything the same here, especially when it comes to the lock pool and whatnot, and just make sure that you can all get the same heroes.
Okay, well they locked Moon Queen, so hopefully they don't screw this up. Now there's Moon Queen.
Okay, so not random. Okay, yeah, got a little crazy there for a second. Wait, okay, so yeah, Tempest, Moon Queen for Lion, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. As long as they have just 2 of the heroes that they were going to pick in that lockpick pool.
Yep, and then don't ban any hero that was picked either, then we should be good here. As what is the ping, by the way, in this game? I didn't actually
It's much better for BK. He was actually pinging close to 300. I think it was just a bad server for him, but he's pinging much better right now.
That's good. Okay, so.
But yeah, talking about that matchup of Plague Rider versus Moon Queen, it goes both ways. I honestly feel like Moon Queen needs to get pulled regen. Now, I don't know if they pulled... No. The pulled regen went to Zephyr in the short lane. I think Moon Queen needs the same thing. I think she's going to need extra regen against Plague, especially once Plague gets up to like level 3 and 5 and starts, spamming those nukes. But Moon Queen needs to be able to just get up there, sustain all that damage until she hits level 6, or actually level 5. By that time, she can actually start fighting back with her own nukes and doing really well against her. So... I definitely, like I said, though, I prefer Complexity's lineup a lot. It's going to come down to, though, if Magmus and Glacius do decide to man up there in the long lane, how effective they're going to be. Now, you're going to see a very, very quick rotation from Aluna to top, and Aluna Zephyr over Magmus Glacius. I definitely still favor them. I just think Glacius Magmus, I really don't have trust in that lane. I just think it's a relatively weak lane overall.
Yeah.
They don't have much burst. They don't have very much kill potential either, unless... one of the members gets very caught off guard, but similar like Aluna, if she's in the lane, she can spam out with her good harass from her range. I think her animation is just a little bit better than Glacius's. Plus, you have the mana cost on your power throw is not as high. I feel like. Let me check that. It's 100 plus Glacial Blast, which is, well, I guess it's the same actually. So never mind. But it does a little bit more damage, and it's more like it doesn't spam the wave either if you aim it properly.
Yeah. You do get confirmation right there that actually apparently the server is good to go. So some good manage coming out from both teams. That is good to see in the end. Never have too many issues there. All right, but just like the beginning of the last game, now both teams are kind of going up here. I find this kind of amusing because the last game they never actually paused it after they unpaused it. So they were voting to remake, and meanwhile they kind of did see them sneaking up here. So it is kind of the same thing happening. In the end, Lion Esports Club, they will eventually get the Ward of Sight down. As Seal Kid places it right there, and that's just like the start as expected. Again, though, as I made the point before the remake last game, we do have a case. B-Kid is playing Plague Rider here, and Moon Meander's on Meraxis. So they are switching up the heroes. Usually you would expect to see the exact opposite, but they're switching. I do think it may just simply be with a ping advantage. Moon is in Europe right now, of course,
right.
So his ping is probably pretty good as...
Sure, it's 4-5.
Yeah, so.
Lion's lineup is identical to the last one, except Moon Queen's there instead of Dark Lady. They had, and the same lanes, too. They had Glacius Magmus top, they had Bubbles mid, Tempest, and jungle, and then they had Dark Lady instead of Moon Queen as a solo short. So kind of interesting. But anyway, where do we have the lane set up right now? Meraxis is going to be starting out in mid solo, and I think that Complexity spotted out exactly the lanes. Actually, there's a That's a very late ward actually placed by Franzi there on that top side. And normally you have to expect that ward is going to be placed by Legion, especially when they all rush up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he should have placed that ward a lot sooner, or at least place it in a different spot, because if they noticed that, and they should have, that ward's going to get countered relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see if Steel Kid specifically playing that Glacius looks to take care of that. But you're right. I mean, Lion Esports Club, not only the same, it's very similar lineup, but the same lanes, so the top and the middle and the jungle. Of course, the Moon Queen instead of the Dark Lady, as you put it. So interesting. Of course, that we're talking about the previous series, that is, where they defeated We Are Spies, and that was game number 3, of course, as we casted just earlier on, if you did miss that. But here we are, and this is game number 1 officially, Complexity versus Lion Esports Club now, and this is the round of 8 winners bracket here for the Diamond Division cycle number 3. All that long title. Middle lane matchup. You got Bubbles versus Moraxis. It looks like Aluna has adjusted to the top lane as a result of this. And look at that power throw harassment connecting to both heroes, I believe, and both Magnus and Glacius will have to fall back. So now that it is actually a 1 versus 1 bid, Bubbles versus Moraxis, do you see either hero having an advantage here?
If Bubbles plays his cards correctly, he should be able to destroy Magnus. Like, if he just keeps auto-attacking like crazy, auto-attacking, be very, very heavy on the harass, then he can win this lane. He's focusing a little bit on CSing right now, and I think that's not the right way to go, especially against a melee with the hatchet. My general rule is if they're melee with the hatchet, they're in for the CS. Like, they're not gonna, obviously they can't harass you really. I mean, Maraxis kind of can, but I'm just going to assume that they can get the CS. Like, just assume it. So why not save yourself a step and just keep attacking them? And then maybe get, you can maybe pull and get lucky with some denies every once in a while. But I would take the more safer route and just getting that consistent harass out. Now, the CS is actually not bad. He's actually 8-1 compared to Maraxis, who's 10-3. He's definitely leading a little bit. But that's simply because he has a hatchet. He has taken a considerable amount of harass, but he does already have a very, very quick bottle. It is a little bit after 2 minutes, but when you buy out with full items of Shield, Hatchet, Tango, having a bottle right about 2 minutes is pretty damn good.
Very good. And, but Moon Meander has been doing a great job. And again, this goes back to perhaps why it's Moon instead of B-Kid, or B-Kid's latency. It's definitely higher being from the States, especially US West on a European server. And Moraxis can be a latency-intensive hero. He wants to be able to land those axes and whatnot, and no doubt that's, I'm sure, helping right there. So Moon Meander is definitely doing a very solid job of that. Now 13-4 compared to the 11-2 Bubbles, so still remaining slightly in the lead. The top lane matchup, Magnus 8-2 compared to a 12-3 Zephyr. The lane is getting pushed up quite a bit, of course. Counter ward has already happened here from Franzi, so 3 minute will spawn. They'll probably stack that up and then look to pull that. So good job from Aluna right there. You mentioned that ward side that was placed by Franzi. It's still yet to be countered. But again, maybe they just simply haven't gotten the opportunity, or maybe they just simply missed it altogether. So that is going to stay there at least for now. But Magnus will be able to pick up more farm here, as again, it does get pushed up. So good news for him. And then there's the bottom lane, of course, Moon Queen versus Plague Rider. Moon Queen 12-6, Plague Rider 9-7. So Flensmeister here seems like he's having a pretty solid time against Beacon on the Plague Rider.
Yeah, it's back and forth. I didn't see if he actually got pulled regen or not. Yeah, he did get pulled a little bit of regen, so good for his team for doing that for him. It's definitely necessary in this lane. But yeah, the top lane, Magnus Glacius, I feel like this is just so inferior to any lane that has a Luna in it. And Zephyr has actually done really well early on by getting the last hits. I've been watching him, and he's gotten a lot of them even where he shouldn't have, using the hatchet ability. I mean, he's like, look at him. He's very, very consistent with his last hitting right now in this lane so far. And there's just really no way that Glacius and Magnus can apply harass. They basically have one go, which is like Magnus jump in and stun. But, killing someone from full is much more difficult to do with Glacius Magnus than it is with like a Luna Magnus.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely, again, these are just, it's showing more and more in this game as well. So, Hacks run on Zephyr, you mentioned that his farm is up there, 23-4 now. In fact, look at the creep kills all across the board for Complexity specifically. Very, very good spread there on their side. I mean, Lion's not bad either. They got Moon Queen, Bubbles, and then Tempest also up there, and of course Magnus up there as well. It just seems like it's a little bit better for Complexity right now, and of course the goal per minute chart definitely shows that as well. So we're now approaching the 5-minute mark. Of course, still no Bloodlust kill happening just yet. Moon Queen pressuring more at the tower here at the bottom lane now. Is going to take a Contagion nuke right there, and it will start to fall back. But she's level 5, so you talked about this. Having that level 3 Moonbeam should be able to start counter-harassing herself especially, and not keep, not allow, or pretty much keep Plague right on his toes as far as him going in to harass himself. So he's going to get some more free farm there. Bubbles free farm in the middle lane because Miraxis actually went all the way back to the well right there, as ports back in. So I'm not sure if he was just low on life or whatever, but had to get some regen, I guess. But back to the middle lane now, and going to cause more issues for Bubbles. But the goal per minute chart, I mean, it's a very even spread, really, for both teams early on. But again, very passive. 5.5 minutes in here.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Bubbles and Miraxis are about even, actually, in mid. But with Bubbles, if he wants to be able to win this lane, being even is not the way to go. Like, even if Miraxis has more CS, he needs to be able to take a lot of harass from Bubbles. And once there's like a threshold, basically. Like, if you get over to a certain point, then it's fine. But if you don't, then it starts to stumble out of control in favor of the tanky hero, whatever that tanky hero might be, in this case, Miraxis. So at this point, it's just too difficult to get him down now that he's level 6, has that ultimate, has his bottle, and just has way too much life. The rune will spawn bottom. It is an illusion rune, actually. Bubble's going to spam out the wave as much as he can, walk bottom, maybe use a couple bottle charges for himself and pass off the bottle to Tempest. Magma's actually in a lot of trouble, though. Caught himself in a bad situation. He stuns actually into the trees, uses the health potion, but he's in a world of hurt right now. He's trying to do some juke and jive, and actually jukes the power throw. Might be okay for now, but no, the Gust gets him, and Haxorn gets credit for the bloodlust.
Well, watching that for the longest time, you see Ophelia. Nice job by Chessie. He ports back. Okay, no. Who did he port back?
He didn't port back anybody.
Okay, I thought he did there for a second. Never mind. I might have canceled it. But anyways,
Yeah,
he heals up the Minotaur as it was about to die to the Ice of Prismus. So it goes to show you how liberal he's not afraid to use that. Even in a situation like that, he wants to make sure to keep that Minotaur. And it stays up, and this is going to be a free tower push on top of that. So not only the Bloodlust kill, but it's easily going to set up a tower kill. And I was watching that pretty much the whole time. I mean, Magnus was actually the aggressor there. He was not necessarily the aggressor, I guess, but he was playing up, go for the creep kills. He got gusted in. He then sat in the steam bath. But the Cyclones were just doing so much damage to him from Zephyr that eventually he tried to make his getaway, and of course we saw the end result. So it worked out very well for Complexity, and just like that, a 2,000 gold lead in their favor, now just passing the 7-minute mark. So very, very good news for them, of course. And you do have Lion Esports Club finding themselves in, well, not the best situation here earlier on, and it goes back to the lineup here for Complexity especially. Zephyr really building around him. Especially if he gets a great start, he will start snowballing for the team, and they could just start grouping up here in the near future and just pushing. And what can you do if you're complex or if you're Lion? Not much, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the thing is too is I don't know why. There's two things about the lineup of I don't know why Chessie didn't pull this camp. But anyway, oh, he has level. That's why. Okay, he knew some level 7 now. He has 3 creeps, and he has the 3 creeps he wants. Look at that. It's level 7. Instantly has 3 creeps he wants. So pretty good RNG factor for him and getting those creeps. But nonetheless, the one thing is he's going to start ganking like crazy now. He has his 3 creeps he wants. He has his level 7, and he needs to open up the jungle for Zephyr now, who has already pushed out that lane. They did a good job about double stacking their pole camp right now, and they're going to get lane control yet again. And so that's going to stop Magnus from free farming this top lane. And then after that, he's going to have to find someone else to gank, maybe roam around a bit, which is fine. That's what Magnus should be doing anyway. But nonetheless, Complexity will have the upper hand in golden experience, at least early on here.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty good for them. Flensmeister, he is continuing to do a solid down here at the bottom lane in the meantime, however. So 41 and 19 creep farm now against 23 and 13 Plague Riders. So yeah, definitely having a solid time. The Helm of the Victim purchase on its way to Whispering Helm. Tundra Blast going to be used right there, trying to buy time for Moon Queen to get in range for his level 4 Moonbeam, which very likely would have been the kill. But Plague Rider just a little bit too far away. And B-Kid will eventually survive. In fact, gets some support from Aluna right there, I believe, and even gets a health potion tossed to himself. So good teamwork coming out right there, and getting more good news for Complexity. Zephyr back to the top lane in the meantime. I mean, he's already getting very close to what could be Helm of the Black Legion in the meantime in the middle lane. Bubbles getting comboed, and speaking of Ophelia going around and setting up ganks, definitely does one right there. Helps to set up a gank on a Bubbles, as Moon Meander with the follow-up gets the assistance there.
Every single kill they get is going to be like basically a tower. If they got a kill right there, they have Chessie right nearby. They have a double damage on Miraxis, and that's going to be another tower. And this is going to consistently happen every single time they decide to roam and get a kill on somebody. Bubbles, I think, misplayed a little bit right there. I think if he just shell surfed first and then use the takeover immediately afterwards. Glacius can try to make a big play right here, but it's not going to be very close at all. He's actually in kind of an awkward spot right now. They want to get a kill on Chessie. I don't think they're going to be able to do this. Tempest is wrapping around. Actually, Franzi dies in the meantime, but Bubbles gets just absolutely annihilated. This could be terrible. Now Glacius is getting pummeled with axes. He's going to fall too. Terrible decision making coming out from Lions. I don't know what they expected to get out of that.
Well, they expected Bubbles poured it in. They were expecting him to kelp field, and they were expecting him to follow up and then set up maybe a Tempest Ultimate even. But fantastic play by Ophelia right there specifically. Locked him down initially with the Skeleton King and Bubbles in that case, and the double Minotaur. One after a perfect stagger as you would expect with a player like Chessie. And then Moraxis followed up with a Quakes on himself. And Bubbles literally did nothing that whole fight after he poured it in. I think that was the biggest issue right there for Lion Esports Club. So beautiful play on Complexity's part, and it's showing in the stats especially. 4,500 gold lead now. All of a sudden, only 10.5 minutes in, at 1,400 experience lead. And you said it. I mean, it seems like they're going to get tower kills after hero kills. And it's well, that's worked back to back. In fact, we see it at the top lane. Magma's going to be dropped by the Portal Key Moraxis. He just picked that up, and well, Snowball is definitely, if you look at the Snowball definition in the HoN dictionary, this game could very likely be in there because yeah, it's going to start taking off big time.
This is getting absolutely out of hand early on. Even then, if it was a great play by Chessie, and it was, but you have to expect that kind of stuff. He was porting it in a very, very awkward position. They're in a terrible position yet again. Tempest and Bubbles are just very, very out of position yet again. Bubbles gets out of safety, but that's not the same for Tempest, as he's going to fall to the ultimate from Zephyr, not to mention all the heroes that are around him. And this is just stumbling out of control. I mean, the golden experience isn't like crazy just yet, but that doesn't really reflect just how much in control Complexity is. And it's a number of factors. It's one that kind of interesting decision there in mid. Even if Bubbles got his kelp filled off in the Tempest hole, I don't think they would have had enough damage to take him down. Ophelia's actually pretty tanky herself, especially with the heal up. She had the heal up as well. She did use it. And Mirax is full HP, ultimate up, ready to go. It was just a bad decision from the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, Complexity, they're just going to start grouping up, and there's nothing they're not going to create enough space for Moon Queen to get enough farm.
Yeah, you see or Helm of the Black Legion and now Ghost Marchers on Zephyr, so he's got his early core with the Mystic Vestment on top, and here's the group up. We're only 12 minutes into this game, and Complexity is confident enough to just start grouping up and just zerking Lion Esports Club because they can. So this is going to be another tower kill. What is this going to be? No, they didn't actually get the top secondary. I thought they were going to push for that, but instead they poured it back to the middle lane and did that whole fight. So anyways, that's the last secondary, or last first outer tower destroyed, I should say. They're going to keep this going because, again, why not? There really isn't much Lion can do to stop this unless they somehow synergize their ultimates together, which is possible, sure. But just the likelihood of that happening is very, very little. So we do see the deep at the tower again dropping quickly. They're trying to push the top tower in the meantime for some counter, but they're going to lose a secondary bottom now. And again, we're not even 13 minutes into this game here. Complexity's lead is just going to get exponentially larger. You see Ophelia porting back one of her minions right there. I believe that was a Minotaur to help save it. Bubbles getting pretty aggressive. He was going for the deny, but at what cost right there? Corrupts it again, another poor decision. And he gets picked off, so on top of the tower kill. And again, this just really is turning into a big snowball here.
And then it's going to turn into Congor. Yep. Every kill has been a tower and then some. And then kill and then another tower, and now it's going to be Congor. They do get a counter tower on top of that, but Moon Queen is just... There's no way he can carry this game, in my opinion. Like, it's just too difficult. You do have a blink up onto Magnus there pretty soon. And that's going to be one of the key ingredients they need to get back into this game, but one of many. I mean, they're going to need one on Tempest as well. They're going to need one on Bubbles as well. And even then, I don't think they have enough damage to take down this Hellborn team, especially with double heal coming out from Ophelia, who now has her Astrolabe.
Yeah, you have both Moraxis and Zephyr. These are very tanky heroes, especially Zephyr. You know, he's kind of that tanky carry, so he's not, a vulnerable carry earlier on. He's already very, very tanky, and even just got more so with a Mighty Blade delivered, in fact. So, but yeah, Ophelia having the double heal with the Astrolabe, and of course her ultimate, very big. Congor. Congor goes down, token of life picked up right there. And the top lane, they're going to initiate as well. Another step from Magnus trying to port out. He was not able to, though. Down goes Tempest. Magnus running away. Oh! What a power throw right there from Franzi. The tail end of it just barely connected to hit Magnus and finish him off. I thought that was going to fall just short, but no, it did not. That's only level 3 power throw, too, and it gets the kill nonetheless. So, oh, geez, adding insult to injury right there. Big time. So you have a token of life up now, an 8,500 gold lead. I don't think they should concede necessarily 15 minutes if you're Lion Esports Club, because again, getting those portal keys, getting a team fight together, maybe there's that miracle happening there, but it's going to continue to be ugly here.
Yeah, I would at least maybe wait to the portal key on Tempest. Portal key on Magnus isn't really going to do that much, honestly, at this rate. like I said, with just having so much tank on their team, even Plague is going to start tanking up. And he's probably going to go for a Blink, actually, right here. Even could go for a Blessed Orb or a Push Book right now, and that'd be fine. Push Book's probably the best to get people out of that Tempest ultimate. Actually, it doesn't really matter what he goes for. Even the Blink, probably effective in canceling Tempest ult. Yep, he goes for the Blink onto Plague. And they're just so tanky that the Magmus ulti is not going to do anything at level 1. Maybe level 2. But by that time Magmus hits level 11, which is in 3 levels, you're going to have, like, Hellflower up onto Miraxis. You're going to have maybe Frostburn up onto, or even Shrunken Head up onto Zephyr.
Yeah.
And by that time, it's just too late. They're really going to need a miracle here.
Well, it's we'll see what Lion has up their sleeves here in game number 1. There's the portal key pickup from Magmus. Again, they got a Whispering Helm on Moon Queen, who's actually doing what looks to be double stack Ancients here. And has a 1,500 gold saved up, so not too shabby. Granted, she's at half-life, and it looks like Complexity is going to start pushing right here. So if you're Moon Queen specifically, you may want to think about getting some regen on, because you could possibly having to get involved in a fight here. As Complexity knows, again, they have the advantages, so why not use them? 5 minutes still remaining, just under now, on that token alive. So they got plenty left from that. There's the Astrolabe peel up on the minions and everyone else. And this tower, it's going to drop easily. They're even using Quake Stuns on the next creep wave. Just make sure this push happens and to really keep the pressure on top. And in the meantime, Tempest just farming up here, farming towards with the portal key. It will take out the tower, actually, so good job by Hanskin, excuse me. But now their base is being exposed. There's the invulnerability. They do not have a portal key on Tempest. They have one on Magmus, however. Look at Tempest. He buys a health potion in the well. Okay, he didn't use that. I was going to say he's actually going to use that, so but that goes to show you just how much pressure there is on them. Anyway, so they're going to group up, though, and it's doing a good job of spreading at the same time. Obviously, they should be in Complexity, expecting at least a Magmus initiation, if not maybe a surprise Tempest ultimate. But no, they're not. Tempest is going to get jumped by Miraxis in the meantime. Magmus channeling up the eruption off to the side. Good stun and on top of a Luna right there, I believe. Or yes, gets going to Luna. The Plague is bouncing around. The Moon Finale is going to go off. And actually, Lion not doing the worst job here. They will kill Zephyr once. He's going to token alive Resurrect, however. And just like that, all 5 are up.
Tempest
Luna did buy back. So did Tempest, though. So Luna buys back. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's very strange.
But anyways, they're not going to get in the base at least, so.
Yeah, they actually pulled it out pretty nicely, but Tempest Ultimate was not used. He tried to go for it and just died too quickly, and then used the buyout, so he's even further from his portal key. He's actually getting pretty close to it, but the Token of Life was used. I don't expect Complexity, especially if it's Complexity, to really push in right now. I think they're going to wait for, honestly, the next token, or at least until they get a pickoff or something, or even that last outer tower, that last tier 1. They did use the Magmus Ultimate, which is going to be one of the tools that's necessary for Lions to win a team fight, and maybe that could be a cue to Complexity to push in, but we'll have to wait and see. Good initiation from Moonmeander, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, of course. You found a Tempest who was in the front lines. You know, he was playing risky, of course. He wanted to get his minions up. Maybe they comment on the creep wave, but they made him pay, and the buyback on top of that, so no even for the delay on the portal key, of course. But yeah, Complexity, despite not getting the tower, in the end, you know, playing it safe, knowing that it's not worth it. But they are actually going to regroup here. Look at that, a Shrunken Head already on Zephyr, actually. So now they got a Shrunken Head on Zephyr on top of him already being so damn tanky. This tower is going to fall, and vulnerability should be on cooldown still. So this tower will fall. Magmus Eruption, that's the cooldown effect. Oh, the jump right there by Magmus Steam Bath, and actually woke it away before too much pressure is applied. Tempest, he's trying to find that right moment, but again, without a portal key, very difficult. Nice line, Magmus done right there, but no follow-up. You see a port coming in from Moon Queen. Yes, that's Moon Queen coming in. So she's working hard, man. She's trying to get that Shrunken Head herself. She has 370 gold per minute, so Flensmeister is not doing a shabby job himself on that Moon Queen here for Lion Esports Club, but you compare that to Haxerin, who's sitting at 500 GPM. So they're just going to keep playing the slow ball. The melee racks will eventually die, though, and that's exactly what Complexity wants. So just a matter of time, though.
Miraxis dipped actually pretty low right there, but he's going to get healed up by the Astrolabe. Ultimate is up on the chest. It's a level 2 ultimate, by the way, too, so it's going to heal for quite a bit of health.
Yeah. Something to keep in mind. So, again, they're just kind of doing some damage. There's the Eruption main channel there. Will jump in, and Zephyr gets bursted down just like that. He did not even get the Shrunken Head off. Magmus will stay alive barely.
Bought out.
And now they're going to chase. Zephyr does buy back. Now, of course, he has to run all the way back. He reports into the secondary tower. But he will eventually get here. But again, despite even him being dead, Lion Esports Club not really committing to a whole lot here. And he will eventually rejoin the group. So it's almost as if that kill may not have accomplished too much in the end.
It accomplished a buyout, which is going to mean racks, probably. Because they can't fight without any spell. Like, they have to have every spell available to be able to win a fight.
They have Tempest Ultimate still.
They have Tempest Ultimate, but it's almost impossible for him to actually get in there and use it.
Yeah. Well,
And,
there's the Matrix. There's a Magnus. Stun him. Moraxis is falling. Moraxis will barely stay alive. Typhoon coming out from Zephyr. He activates the Shrunken Head. The Moon Finale is going to start bouncing around. Zephyr will take out Glacius, but still, he's in a little bit of trouble. The Shrunken Head will barely keep him alive, however. And that'll be that. So the Rax is still alive. It's just Glacius dead. Not the biggest deal in the world. And they're going to still hold off the Rax. Lion Esports Club, you got to give them credit. Actually, what? Okay. Moraxis jumped in with the portal key, but it's because he got sent back. That was pretty risky there. But anyways. Well, obviously Complexity is very good after that, but I think the Lions actually did a fantastic job there nonetheless.
They did. They did a fantastic job. They played it to perfection right there. Just fending off the base, but actually manning up on heroes that otherwise most teams would be kind of scared to man up against. And they bursted down Zephyr fast.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Chessie was late on heal or just didn't have it up or ready to go at that moment, or maybe he even did. There was just so much burst. I didn't catch it. But nonetheless, it was a very good coordination by Lions, and they bursted him down, and they wasted a buyout from Zephyr as well, which is pretty huge in these kind of games.
It is, yeah.
So, that's going to further Moon Queen's farm just a little bit, give her a little bit more space, but most importantly, I feel, is Tempest is going to get closer to that portal key. Now, you do have great, you actually have a lot of stuns to be able to cancel that, well, there's really 3. There's, actually, if Chessie has some Skeleton Kings as well, so it's going to be hard for Tempest to get an ultimate off, but it still can be done.
Well, even if it's just for a couple of seconds, it still is going to accomplish a lot. So that's it. Especially when you're against a lineup like this, you're not looking for a full duration ultimate. Let's be honest. You're looking for maybe a second or two to set up a Magnus, to set up a Moon Queen, Moon Finale, and stuff like that. So speaking of Moon Queen, she has another 1,500 golds. I want to say she bought another piece of the Shrunken Head because I thought she had over 2,000 at a point. But she's still farming here, and actually she's going to port back to base. Okay, she buys a Mystic Vestment, actually. So she still doesn't have the Shrunken Head, but here we go again. Complexity's going to try for it. The melee Rax is very, very low. You see some Moonbeams being thrown out right there. Again, all the ultimates are up, it looks like. Magnus is out of mana, however. He needs to regen, which he is doing right now. The Rax is getting so close to dying.
They might just want to give this up if they're not in a position to fight.
Tempest is so close to a PK.
He has it. Right now. He sold something.
Okay, he sold the Mystic Vestment. So he sold the Mystic Vestment. He picks up the Portal Key. That's goes to show you how important he feels this is. So here we go. They don't know he has the portal key yet. They could maybe assume it, but they don't actually have that information exactly. So it's going to be close right here. Moraxis will go in. The melee Rax, it will not barely fall. Oh my god, it finally does fall. Moraxis portal key's away. And that'll be that. Wow. It lived there with 1 life for like 2 seconds.
I feel like actually Tempest could have gotten a huge ultimate right there. There was 2 Skeleton Kings clumped up. There was Moraxis and Zephyr all in one little area. Now, obviously, it would have been canceled quite quickly, but like you were saying, just for a second right there, if you're able to burst him down, and we saw the burst potential even with the level 1 eruption from Magnus onto Zephyr. So Zephyr, again, is deceptively tanky. Didn't activate that Shrunken Head, and if they can get him before he does, then it can be a 1-5 by Lions. Now, they're in a huge deficit right now, especially in gold, but 1 Rax in this kind of game, especially against the Moon Queen and a Tempest, it's not the end of the world at all.
No. It's not. I honestly can't. I'm a little bit shocked still. Alliance Esports, they played it very well there in the initial push that happened. They held it off, and that's the sole reason of why they honestly have a chance all of a sudden. It seemed like it was just going to snowball out of control, and we'd be going to game number 2 shortly. But that's why I kind of held off as saying they should have 15-minute concede, because they have a Tempest, you can get up a Portal Key, you have a Moon Queen who's farming fairly well. At least wait to see what happens. And they've done that, and you got to give them the credit for that, because they've stuck in there. And sure, they're still behind by all means, but definitely looking at least better than it was even earlier on. So Moon Queen should hopefully have her Shrunken Head for Lion's case, that is, going into the next fight. And of course, as we keep going back to the Portal Key on Tempest, you got now a tablet on Magnus, by the way. So he has a tablet Portal Key, and then you got a tablet on Bubbles on top of that, who are both level 11 as well. So getting their level 2 ultimates, of course, very important. So yeah, things are definitely adding up here for Lion Esports Club. At the other side of the spectrum, though, you still have Complexity. You still have Haxerin, who is now 1,700 more gold saved up. He is still farming very, very well. But look at this. Lion Esports Club, they're the ones playing some aggressors even. Yeah. They're pushing the bottom tower a little bit, but they will fall back.
Well, this is where Complexity, they can't let up. Like, they can't give space to Moon Queen, allow her to farm up a lot of items and whatnot. And they have every right to just keep pushing and keep grouping as 5. They are much stronger right now. Like, you do have good tools from Lions, but the only reason why they were able to kind of they did lose 1 Rax, but the only reason they were able to defend that to the point where they weren't just all dying over and over is because they were in their base. They were up. They had the uphill advantage. and that fog definitely plays a role. And like this tier 1 tower that's sitting, or sorry, this tier 2 tower that's sitting up here, that can be killed immediately. Also, they have Congor to their disposal, and it looks like they might actually walk towards that right now.
Yeah, they are in that vicinity. You do see a ward of sight here. In fact, just Shell Surf is going to scout it a little bit, but a little bit too early, if anything. However, Congor's not going to be attempted, at least just yet. Triple stack Ancients instead, the flavor of choice here for complexity. And I believe Moraxis is getting a majority of these, if not really just spreading it out. So, yeah, Chelsea does have the double Skeleton King, though. You mentioned that earlier specifically against Tempest. You really want to make sure to have as many outs as possible. Barrier Idol just finished. Speaking of Chessie, now on him, he's also got the Astrolabe, the Plate of Greaves. Every single item of his literally does something not only for himself but for the team. That's pretty cool to see as a result of picking up the Barrier Idol. So
yeah,
that's Ophelia for you, though. She's here to support after all. Zephyr purchased something. What did he buy? It is on the courier. That is an expensive courier. Holy crap. Icebrand, I believe, is his. There's an Arcana on there. There was a there was everything. Okay. It's all delivered. So an Icebrand on Zephyr. You have a Hellflower just finished on Moraxis. And they are probably going to get Congor. Yeah, it's getting close. Legion team has an idea. Magnus is setting himself up. We could see a big initiation right here. He's going to start channeling. Yes, he is. Congor is going to start falling. He will jump in with the eruption. Congor will go down. He picks up the target alive. And Lightning Burst may have a chance for you. The Tempest ultimate, pretty solid. The Moon Finale coming up with a Barrier Auto going to be applied. And that could do work here now for complexity. The Plague Guard bouncing around. Magnus is going to start dropping again. He has a token of life. He'll come back up. Well, he's in a horrible spot. Can he portal key in time? No, he cannot. He's going to get chain locked. And he will fall. You see, Moon Queen will be able to port out. And so what seemed like a good start for Lion, it just still works out beautifully for complexity. And they end up nearly getting a genocide with no players lost.
And the biggest thing about that is that they already used all their big spells. Like, Lions use everything. They use Eruption. They use Tempest Toll. They actually didn't use Kelfield. I wonder if Bubbles just got CC'd before anything even happened.
Oh, true, yeah. I think they jumped him first, yeah.
It could be, and he didn't get any spells off. And even Moon Queen ulti was used, and they can just march into the base. They don't have a token of life, but it doesn't matter. All the spells were used. They can't kill them now without those spells at their disposal.
Yeah.
And
they don't rely on their ulti.
This is going to be another Rax.
It very likely will be. I mean, you do have Magnus coming up, so 05 will be up here for Lion, but as you know, you just said it. It's without the ultimates, what are they going to do? In fact, Zephyr, Gust, and Glacius right there. Nearly gets the kill, but the Talbot from the defense. Magnus stuns in, so they will get the tower kill. But they're just trying to delay as much as possible, of course. You see Ophelia on the bottom side of the ramp. She's going to start attacking the melee racks. Moraxis jumps in on a Bubbles in the background. A lot of burst damage happening. There's a Gust, and Bubbles just gets disintegrated right there. The Shrunken Head Zephyr. The Owl is just too damn scary. Moon Queen going to be blocked in. She has her Shrunken Head up as well, trying to use the Moon Finale for some damage. Zephyr dropping, gets tapped forward. Moraxis, a great stomp in the back of the. What a stomp for Moomiander right there. Will help save Zephyr, and Haxor will Gust to even help further. Nice axe right there, stopping the portal key. Magnus gets tapped. There's the stun in. Can they get the skill? Shell Surf, the Song of the Sea, not even necessary. They get the double tap kill right there. Tempest will fall, but now Aluna's in some trouble. Moon Queen is chasing. No buybacks have happened just yet from the Hellborn team at least. Aluna's on the run. Magnus, another great line stun right there. Plague Runner jumps in. The Plague Goo is not going to be able to go off though. There's the Plague Goo. Moon Queen is starting to drop. Magnus got the kill already though onto Aluna, I believe it was. Plague Runner wants to kill Moon Queen. Will get the kill with Ophelia. But Magnus shielding in the eruption. Bubbles alive. There's a stun and down goes Plague Runner. And Ophelia is very likely going to fall as well. Moraxis did buy back. He is running back in here, but I don't think he's going to get here in time. Holy crap. What a fight. That was a genocide from Lion.
It wasn't. They did defend the Rax. I mean, they're defending these pushes very, very well.
Without ultimates.
Yeah, without their ultimates as well. So you can maybe argue that some of these jumps aren't really necessary, that maybe just sitting back and trying to hit the Rax and letting them jump on you might be the smarter route. But, Lions is playing it well.
Yeah. They are, man. I mean, both teams had some great plays there. I mean, the Moomiander on Moraxis, he had an excellent stun to initially save Zephyr.
He did.
Stunned like 500 units. I mean, it was a lot of things, heroes and minions that got stunned. But anyways, but at the same time, he did initiate very far, and you can't argue it might have been a little bit of a mistake to do that in the meantime. So,
well, I think the biggest thing is that they don't need to initiate.
Yeah.
Especially with all their spells down. Like, how are they going to kill you? If they blink, if Magnus blinks in and stuns you, you just ignore it. You're just like, okay, you blink, you can't kill me. Good luck. I have Astrolabe. I have Ophelia heal, I have barrier, I have my own tanky ult, I have Shrunken Head on Zephyr. Like, they can't kill you. So there's no point in initiating on them when you can just safely kill the Rax and let them try to go on you without all their spells. So I think that was just a bad decision by the team. And, you know, you can maybe say that was a very, you know, kind of interesting or questionable initiation by Moon, but it's at this stage of the game, it's mostly a team decision. It's like, you know, if you see someone go on them, or if you see this person go on them, and the rest of the team validates that for you. But, you know, I think the smarter decision, like I said, with spells down, it's just safely get the Rax, don't try to overcommit, let them go on you, because they had Moon Queen ultimate down, they had Magnus ultimate
Everything
down.
but Kelpfield, basically, was down, yeah. Yeah, it was looking like Complexity again. They could have had a chance of getting the Rax and really trying to even secure this game, you could say, but it just doesn't happen. Lion is barely hanging in there by a thread, but they are hanging in there. You really got to give them credit for that. So
yeah,
you got a level 16 Moon Queen now. Now her farm again. It's gone up and down. It's now at 330 gold per minute, so it's going back up here. She is still looking for that damage item you expect to be the Firebrand. And, you know, once she has that, at least the Firebrand, eventually the Geometer's Band, of course, and can start even doing more. I love Ophelia's items, man. I mean, just look at that. Literally every single item does something for the team, not just herself. And it's just cool to see that, especially on it. But, again, that's what Ophelia does. That's what she's here for. So, has the Energizer now, by the way. That's why I'm saying that. So, that's another solid item pickup. And, again, Complexity, though, they are going to regroup and make this happen. They know that they don't want to give time to Lion. They don't want to give time to that Moon Queen to farm that Firebrand eventually. What else? They don't want to give Magnus a Hellflower. So they're going to try to keep this pressure up. And here we go once again. But this time, ultimates are up. So this could be fun. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, ultimates are up, but, you know, Complexity's already grouped. And, oh, there's Glacius and just dead. Wow. Totally out of position right there, Steel Kid. And he dies in. And, you know, you can think just of Glacius, but his spells do a lot of damage and do work, and every little bit is going to be necessary and needed.
Why was he even up that far is a big question, but we see more action jumping on Magnus, actually. Magnus will get exploded on. He can buy back. And so we'll see if they can maybe set something up with that, try to catch them off guard. But the melee Rax is dead again. Complexity got what they came for eventually. And they are still going to hold their ground, though. They're going to push up the hill, maybe go for the ranged Rax here. And the Magnus still no buyback, but the team isn't really set up to initiate, so he did use his eruption as well. Oh, so that's wow, I didn't even realize that. So he was channeling the eruption. That's
big
when
initiation.
Yeah, the Ward of Sight from Franz, you can see, no doubt spotted him. So that I didn't even realize that until I saw the eruption on cooldown. But
they have two wards of sight in their base.
Yeah,
and even you have to throw up just blind counters there. You have to throw up blind wards of revelation. You cannot risk the fact of standing behind trees, trying to get an ultimate off, and then having exactly that happen. So not having counters or Ward of Revelations in your base against a push team like this, too, with strong initiation from Moon or Meraxis, is you have to have that. And they just simply don't.
You see Chess even has that Wolf Commander now, so it's kind of cool seeing that. I love the Wolf Commander, the damage aura that it provides, and as soon as I say that, he kills it. So, but he's getting another Minotaur, so understandable. Anyways, yeah, it's Magnus just simply getting caught there. That was the biggest, and that makes even more sense why he didn't buy back. Of course, if you don't have your eruption, you know it's the damage is already done. Just go ahead and let the resurrection take its course and go back eventually, and then hope for the best. But now with so it's one thing for one set of racks to be down, but of course with two sets, it is getting to a point of, you know, really it does line. Well, it seems like they will kind of go for an all-in. I mean, they maybe just got to push themselves or go for kind of get a Ninja Congor or something like that, but they can't just continue to sit back now because their bottom and mid lane are going to be heavily pushed in. They are going to push the middle lane in the meantime as I say that, but you look at the Hellborn team Complex. It's almost as if they're waiting for it. Bubble's going to be jumped in the meantime. The Hellfire, he's going to be bursting out. Moon Queen now caught up by himself. He does have a Shrunken Head. Hasn't used it yet, though, and he won't use it the whole time. He just gets locked down, and he will eventually fall. So Complexity, they almost baited them into that tower push.
Yeah, that was... I don't understand that at all. That was just not smart at all. And pushing at that, you just need to defend the base and just try to slowly gain some kind of a farm up from that. You know, Magnus is initiating here on Zephyr, who's all by himself actually. Takes a lot of damage from that meteor, which is level 3 right now. But yeah, having decisions like that where you push out that far and don't have the entire team ready behind you, ready to go with some kind of plan, is just pretty silly, to be honest.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's almost, again, it's a case of desperation, and, you know, it's obviously didn't work out for them whatsoever.
What is Glacius doing over here?
What? Moon's like, free kill, thank you. That is beyond me. I have no clue what Glacier is doing over there absolutely by himself.
I mean, maybe that was his long escape, long getaway, and it just happened to end right there.
Possible, yeah.
Barrier Idol is popped right here. Well, I mean, you still have Moon Queen dead for another 3 seconds. She's respawning right now, and here we go. This is going to be the final fight.
Okay, yeah. Magnus is... Oh, he got spotted, though, by the power throw, I believe. He's going to Steam Bath, but great power throw from Moon Queen ports in, and Moon Queen gets locked down. There's a jumping eruption coming out from Magnus. The Moon Finale on top of that, so a lot of damage happening for Lions. Will it be enough for the kills? Ophelia will fall in the end, it looks like. Plague still barely alive. He hasn't played good yet, and he will get the Plague off at the last second. That's going to do a lot of damage now, bouncing around. It will eventually die off. Magnus stays alive. Zephyr's still alive, though. 2 players dead on the Hellborn team, 2 on the Legion team now, as Bubbles did end up dying as he was caught up in front. But Zephyr, most importantly, he is still very strong, full life, a good chunk of mana. Moraxis joins back in, and there's the tower kill. So again, everything used. No, they didn't use the Tempest Ultimate, actually. So
yep,
Tempest still has that, but
Moon was spending the whole time trying to screw with Tempest Ultimate. Actually, here comes some initiation. Tempest, he wants to hold. He only gets Zephyr, though. It's not doing too much damage at the moment. Here comes the Beacon. They get the push on top of the Storm Spirit. More initiation coming out from Moon Meander. And here comes Zephyr. Great stun, actually, by Super KGE. And actually, the Moon, oh no, Moon Queen's going to be in a lot of trouble. She's trying to fight, but it's not going to be enough. She has no buyout. And here comes the last kind of push and final initiation. Actually, Beacon jumping in, trying to get the Blink stun, or the Blink nuke onto. And actually, there's the GG well played coming out from Handskin, as it was a well played game actually by both sides.
It was.
But game 1 goes to Complexity.
yeah, no, Complexity played them very good early on, and throughout the whole game for the most part too. But Lion Esports Club, man, they really hung in there. And what could have been a 50-minute concede, let's be honest, it ended up being a 36.5-minute game that, sure, you know, in the end they still lost, but they really did fight strong. So it was good to see them at least staying into the game and trying to give an effort there. But in the end, Complexity was lined up just a little bit too much. I mean, even to the very end there, I mean, if Moon Queen was able to stay alive, get the kill on the Zephyr, something could happen. But I also noticed that all 5 players on Complexity ended up using at least 1 buyback that game, too. So, I mean, that goes to show you just how even desperate they were in some cases to try to make sure to finish the game as soon as possible. But
the Luna buyback was kind of silly, but
that was...
I was going to say that last fight, Moon Meander did a really good job about blinking in. He was actually segregating, or separating Tempest from the entire fight. Like, the entire fight was happening. I was like, oh man, I see a perfect Tempest ultimate. I see a perfect, but it was Moon just kind of 1v1ing with Tempest in the background, and that was a really smart job and or a smart play by Moon Meander.
Yeah, it was, and again, great play overall. Really, by both teams. That was one of those games where it's just, you know, happy that we got the chance to cast it because that was a lot of fun to watch. And credit to both teams. In the end, though, there could only be 1 victor, and of course, that was Complexity. But best out of 3, so we'll see what game number 2 has in store for us. Complexity versus Lion Esports Club. Sit tight, guys. We'll be right back. Game number 2 coming at you.